Hey, Crusader Kings III, The Royal Court. The first CK3 video that will have the every single click treatment. Meaning, I will play Crusader Kings III and I will show 99% of the clicks in game. So you will learn how to play Crusader Kings III. I did promise you guys a really long time ago I was going to make a tutorial. There's 3 different choices at the top. Pick one of 3 and then click 1066. The normal, kind of lame tutorial option is to play as Ireland. The problem with Ireland is even when you form the Kingdom of Ireland, you still are relatively weak compared to your neighbours, Scotland and England. Because at that point, when you formed Ireland, it's kind of difficult to branch out from there. At that point, it becomes less tutorial friendly. But what I recommend is playing as France in 1066. King Philip of France, 14 years of age. A wee lad that is fickle, trusting, and lazy. Hey, these traits are not that bad. We're going to play on normal difficulty with no special rules, with Iron Man turned off, because save scumming is what you're going to need to do if you make a big mistake. And there are a lot of mistakes you can make in CK3 that can mess up your game. So let's go. So the objective of this campaign is to form the Empire of Francia. So we start as a kingdom tile, and we next to our big daddy, the Holy Roman Empire, which could cause problems later on. And we need to survive succession, the royal court, and loads of other new game mechanics. So here we go. I'm holding my hand out right now. Take my hand and let's have an experience together. So press E and we're looking at the realm view. And the first thing to do is check the top with the legend to see what options we've got. So, there's a lot going on here. So first of all, we can right-click and dismiss a bunch of these, because I don't care about court physician unless I get ill. I've got too few knights. That'll be fixed later on in the game when we have more requires that will automatically be recruited. There are 2 people who are going to prison. Both have 0% chance of going to prison, so there's no point setting them unless I want a rebellion, which I don't. We have the option to declare war on the Kaiser next to us for a de jure claim. We'll come back to that later. Press tab. This brings up the ledger other than clicking at the top. Our archbishop does not endorse it. Now, that is a big problem. So archbishops under Catholicism give a bonus to levies as well as taxed. Levies are your troops, your really weak ones. You know, imagine a farmer with a poleaxe, a pitchfork, and a dustbin lid on his head. That's right, that is your levy. An average Joe who's abandoned his job as a blacksmith or a farmer to become a warrior as a part of the king's army. And in this case, the realm priest does not endorse us, meaning the levies and the taxes are going to the Pope. Here, Mr. Pope, the head of the Catholic Church. If we do want the levies and the taxes, we need to make his like us. So -6, so we can right-click and sway him. Sway is a scheme that will happen every 15 months. This is the chance of success, 39%, and have a chance to increase relations. If you are bad at diplomacy, it'll have the opposite way, and he might actually hate you. Be aware of that. When you die and your realm splits, some of your land may go to another liege. Don't worry about that. We're not getting endorsed by the Archbishop, so get rid of that. Right-click to dismiss. If you want to click on this button, it'll bring us all the options we've just dismissed back. One of our powerful vassals wants to be on the council. We'll worry about that later. We have a bunch of tiles that we can create. We're not going to be doing that now. Right-click. And this is a trump card. So in the event that we have a vassal that's causing us problems, we can give them a rightful vassal that they believe that they own, and we can give them with a 40 relation boost. Once again, I'm going to right-click and dismiss that. We're only going to use that as a bargaining tool in the event that we need to make people happy. Remember, CK3 is not just about painting the map. It's also about diplomacy, making people work with you, making friends, making enemies, and then potentially conquering. Because we are a child, a lot of people don't believe in us. We need to make them believe in us. And you will do that by building a concrete realm and then fighting against our enemies around us. Yay. All right, first thing we're going to do, martial is our education focus. If you are a child, you have not yet got an education, and once you acquire education, you gain points to boost that specific attribute, as well as gain traits quicker. And in this case, we are going to go for stewardship, and we are going to make sure by right-clicking and left-click on education focus, find someone who is a very, very good steward. In this case, 9. That's not very good, but it will have to do. Boom, you will educate me for the next year before I actually become an adult at 15. Yay. Also, this is an important pop-up. You are not betrothed. So it's important you find someone to marry when you become of age. In this case, we're going to sort by stewardship. There's a cheesy method in this game where you can cause your wife to do a job as a part of your realm, which will boost your stats. In this case, we're going to get as much stewardship as possible, and she is Hale, and we are going to marry her. We do lose 300 prestige for this marriage, but in the long run, it will benefit us because our realm will be better. We'll unpause the game by pressing space. Now we're going to click on the council, which is F4, and you'll notice the queen will appear in our council now. That's right, we are married. Next thing is we have a very important dynasty in our realm, so we can go for a dynasty perk. The way it kind of works with dynasty perks is the farther right you go, the bonuses tend to get a lot better, and the first ones you get aren't really that great. There are a few of them that gives you good bonuses early game, though. Example of that is natural dread. That's a really good way of controlling your realm. If people are afraid of you, they're less likely to rebel and not want to kill you. Secondly, this one's also a good one. Law, mostly fair. It makes hunts and feasts 30% cheaper. and also increases the popular opinion, which reduces the chance of peasant rebellions. Throwing hunts and feasts is important because it reduces your stress, and if you have a very stressful character, that will become a rolling snowball problem. In this case, we are going to go for ominous reputation. Gain some dread. Boom. Are we done yet? No, because there's a 1 here for your royal court, and someone wants something in your royal court. Now, if you want a bit of a lore experience and a story-driven adventure, you can read the text here, but the bit easy to do is just to hover over them and see what they give you. In this case, we can become friends between 2 people, a guest and your archbishop. You have the option to pay some gold and gain grandeur, as well as renowned, or the option to gain a little bit of stress and gain prestige. It's up to you. I think the top one's the best option because this gains relationship bonus to our archbishop. If you hold middle mouse button, hover over, that is our archbishop, and that means they'll endorse us. So now we hop out of here by pressing escape, pressing F4 to go back to the council. You can see we've got +7 relations down with our realm priest, which if you hover over the plus here, that very, very small plus, it means 0.5 of the income from the church in this realm is going directly to the liege. Moi. And 194 levies from the church are going directly towards me. But if you look really closely, you can see the maximum you can gain is +4. So we are going to continue to sway the Pope, which is this icon on the bottom right, the rose. We're going to continue to sway our realm priest to boost relations, and at +50, you gain the maximum amount of income from him and from the church. Isn't being a Catholic great? Right. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Okay, so all these ones that have names are domains that you hold. In this case, Paris is very important because it is your capital. It gains a lot of bonuses to tax and development, and it is in some lovely, lovely farmlands. Oh, isn't that nice? Which means gives a lot of growth to development, which is important to build up. You'll see. All right, one thing we're going to do is build a new building here, and my advice is to go for the one that gives a little bit of extra tax and a little bit extra levies. We do have some buildings here. This one gives garrisons, this one gives tax. Yeah, I think we'll go for the farms and fields. This gives an extra increase in tax, which goes directly into our coffers, which pays back dividends. All right, let's unpause. So press space to unpause, and you can use the plus or minus on the keyboard to increase or decrease the speed. You can do it down here by clicking on these dots. Pause just again. One other thing to know is a good strategy in CK3 is to build your realm capital as tall as possible. Lots of income, lots of levies, lots of development. The end result of this is that when you have succession crises, because most of the power is centralized into your capital, and your king dies, on succession, they will inherit this capital once again with all its bonuses, with all of its levies, and with all its tax to continue the power to stay within your family. Aren't monarchies great? All right, I'm going to go 4 speed and unpause and take it really, really slowly. Once again, you can press tab again to bring down the leisure. Keep an eye on this. It's important because you have lots of things you have to deal with. It's important that you deal with them immediately because otherwise they just become growing problems. Just note, there is a war going on right now between the Duke of Normandy and England. And if he does win this, it means that Normandy will become an independent realm and break away from us. All right, we have an event popped up. We are learning with our mother, and she has teached us the East Slavic language, but it will result in us gaining a lot of stress. We only at the moment speak French. In fact, we're going to say no to that. We don't want to deal with stress before we're an adult because that is going to cause lots of problems. All right, let's go 5 speed. Plus speed, our sway was successful, and the realm priest now has high relations. And if we go into F4 once again and hover over it, we're now gaining plus 2.6 money per month over 3.9. The Catholic Church is horrendously rich, and anytime you can get your realm priest to endorse you is optimal because you can see our income now is plus 10, and that means we can build more buildings in our capital region. Now, to top this off, a good way of building your realm capital is to use your steward, F4, and tell them to increase development. 2 increases development, which increases levies, increases taxation. But on top of that off as well, if you look really closely, you can see it increases building time by 5%. So pop him right here, and he will now develop this region and make it higher development for Paris. Also, what we can do is click on the circular bit here to select a new steward and select one who is very, very qualified. In this case, click here to sort 17, and now from 52 years to develop Paris, it will now take 14 years. Probably not the most optimal region to develop, but in all fairness, it is really good to do this to increase the speed that buildings are constructed. In this case, because he's got 17 stewardship, it will increase it 21% quicker. Very, very worthwhile. Hey, we get to choose our sexuality. In this case, just because the Middle Ages are very messy and not very tolerant, we will go with heterosexual. And now I have become king, and I have come of age, and we have become a thrifty clerk. Not the best, is what it is. But that means we can also marry. Yay, we're now married. And also, we're going to hop into our council of view and tell our queen to manage the domain. You can see our tax goes from 11 plus 11.4 per month to 12.1. That's right. She is increasing our ability to, well, harvest taxation from our vassals. Isn't that great? Who wouldn't want an accountant wife, right? Anyway, you choose a lifestyle perk. In this case, we're going to go for stewardship, and we're going to go for wealth focus, and we are going to work towards, this is my domain. We can hold a court now. You know what? In all fairness, I don't recommend holding courts regularly. The truth behind it is it has a great ability to gain new money, gold, prestige, grandeur, and improve relations and whatnot. But my advice is don't do them unless you desperately need some of those points. You just need to fire some random events to hopefully get those points. My advice is just don't do that. Just stop holding courts unless you desperately need some kind of points. Anyway, wedding. Bells are ringing. Do we take the money or the prestige? We are going to go for the money because we want to build our capital nice and tall. All right, 5 speed. Press space to unpause, and off we go. Now, you've got the choice right now. Do you want to think about conquest, or do you just want to build your realm? So right now, what I'm focusing on is stability. I want a nice bank account of money, like at least 1,000 gold. Then I can think about expanding my realm from there. One thing I want to focus on is if I hop into factions, you can have a look at factions that are currently in form that might try to overthrow me as their ruler. I don't want that to happen, so it's an idea to keep an eye on it. Also, you press escape here, click on my face in the bottom left, click on vassals. You can also keep an eye on your vassals in your realm that like you or dislike you. And right now, wow, there's a few that really hate me. So that's something to keep an eye on. First thing we're going to do is make the realm priest really like us. So plus 50 relations. That way we'll get the maximum tax. Then we'll start swaying our vassals to like us more. And at that point, if we're in a war situation and then we lose a lot of our army, we don't have a situation they'll try to overthrow us. That's right, our vassals are assholes, and they will find the right possible opportunity to try and overthrow you when you're at your weakest. So just be aware of that. You think you're safe? You think you're comfortable right now? Well, get this, you're wrong. Okay, there is another way to make a lot of money. Hop into your royal court here, click on court grandeur, and right now we're paying so much money. Oh my goodness, so much money for all these anemones. Now, if you want to really make money, which I do right now, I'm going to drop them all really low. Now, you will lose all these bonuses that you get from the court, but don't worry about this. Later on, we'll come back to this and we'll fix any issues that might be happening in our court. We will suffer from a penalty because our court isn't as grandiose as it should be. But once again, we're focusing on making money at the moment, and look at this. Oh, plus 19 gold per month. Oh, we're rich, baby. We're rich. Okay, one thing I want to do with my realm priest too is I want to fabricate on account in the Basque region. The Basque culture is fantastic because they get to take advantage. If you click cultures in the bottom right and click Basque, you can see they have the Visigoth code, which allows you to go for the high partition succession law. So what I'd like to do is have some of our Basque people in our realm to understand the Basque traditions, and maybe we can adopt them ourselves. Potentially. Who knows? Let's find out. So in this case, we're going to select our realm priest and tell them to fabricate a claim on a county, and we're going to select here. This will take 22 months. Off you go. Crop fields are done in our capital. Press space to unpause, and then we'll upgrade this to level 2. So what you can see here is we're making money from the Catholic Church, from our vassals, and then we just basically reinvesting it back into Paris. Once again, it's important that we build up our capital realm as high as possible. Then on succession, we'll have less issues. One thing we can do in the meantime as well is increase our prestige. So easy way of doing that is to throw hunts. The flat rate of prestige from a hunt is 150, but you can gain more based on these events. In this case, lazy, so again 75. And then another one for another 75. This is a really lucky one. And then finally, a good kill. And then finally, the 150 prestige. That's a lot of prestige from one hunt. That was really lucky. Prestige is useful because it allows us to increase our crown authority, which allows us to get more levies and more income from our vassals. We have the option to go for past limited crown authority, but we're limiting prestige. The cost of prestige for increasing crown authority scales based on your realm size, and France is a massive realm, and as you'd imagine, it's pretty pricey. And because our realm's so large, that's why it's so pricey. All right, we have swayed our Archbishop. He's now over 50 relations, and now we're getting the max amount of gold. Oh, that income is insane. Next up, we click on ourselves, click on vassals, and then we try to improve relations with someone. In this case, Duke William, the bastard, actually likes us the most, so we'll actually sway him to get him to max relations, at least 50, at least. And then we'll start working on some of the ones that really dislike me, like this guy. He wants to be on the council, he desires lots of counts. Culture acceptance because he is an Occitanian. Occitanians in France? What year is this? So what we can do is press F4, look at our council, and see this little fist here? This represents a powerful vassal. If these people are not on the council, they get really upset because they believe that's their right, because they are powerful so they should be represented on the council of their liege. In this case, this guy is not a powerful vassal, this Prince Robert II, even though he is very diplomatic. Otherwise, what we could do is hire this guy. He's got 12 diplomacy, so he's pretty good, and he's upset because he's not on the council. I think he can get a plus 50 relations if we accept him, so that means he's 76. So he still really hates us, but we tried anyway. One other thing to do is to notice is Duke William, who we're improving relations, currently doesn't like us. He hasn't got positive relations. That can be a problem. Spy masters need to always have positive relations because it will massively increase the chance of killing you if someone is plotting to kill you. One thing to note too is our spy master has negative relations below 50. It's important that we push him higher than that because we're currently swaying him. If someone tries to kill us and our own spy master tries to join the plot, it'll have a massive impact on their chance of killing us. So it's important we make him happy, which we are doing that. Our marshal has died. We can hire another marshal. Once again, look for someone who is a powerful vassal. In this case, he has 9 marshals, so that'll do. Actually, no. Duke William would be perfect for that because he's got 22 marshal. And then we have another option to hire a new spy master. This is going to be difficult because whoever we hire, they're going to really hate us. We try and go for this guy and see if we get positive relations. 0 relations. Okay, that'll do for now. This is an event based upon your education path. In this case, it's stewardship. So you've got the option if you want to pay some money, lose opinion, to potentially gain more stewardship. In this case, we go for this one. It upsets one of our vassals and makes one of them happy. And we have gained a new attribute into stewardships. In this case, we're going to go for golden obligations. Then this is my domain. All right, we've got an option here to gain an item. In this case, it's some armor for 290 gold. That's so expensive. So we're going to say no, even though that causes a lot of stress. All right, so we press for this county in Navarra. We have the option to do that. If we declare war, no, it's not alliance. We can't deal with it. It means all of the Spanish kingdoms to our south will declare war. So it's something we'd have to keep an eye on. And one way we can keep an eye on it is click on the king of Navarra and click on the pin. And if you click here, you can see the pin here. So we can keep an eye on King Alfonso, see if he potentially dies or something happens with the alliances. Then we can come back to that and deal with it later on. Wow, the mighty have fallen. Duke William is now a count. Wow. Okay, let's sway someone else. Go for this guy. There's 2 elements to come into swaying that's important. The amount of levies they've got and also their realm size. So in this case, this guy is the most powerful vassal in the realm, so we probably should sway this guy now. I think he's one of the Aquitanians to the south. If we look at the ledger right now, we can see our sister can marry. Now, when it comes down to marriages in the Middle Ages, there's lots of different options you can go with. One of my favorite things to do is matrilineal marriage, meaning that the person she marries comes into our court and then we can use him as a counselor, for instance, and then you could hire someone with 21 marshal or 23 stewardship if we were struggling to find people qualified for our council, which at the moment we're really not. Alternatively, you could take off matrilineal and then marry into a prestigious realm. In this case, we can sort by rank. In this case, my sister can marry the King of Sweden. Now, there's 2 things going on here that I don't want to do. One, this is a really cool thing to do if you want a powerful alliance. It's also a really good thing to do to improve your amount of prowess because you're married into a king. Your dynasty is married to a king. The only problem is that the alliances are kind of annoying in this game, and you get lots of pop-ups saying, please join my war, please join my war. But then you've got your own agenda to deal with, and you're constantly back and forth, who you're dealing with. In this case, I think what we're going to do is marry the Doge of Venice. I don't think, because it's such a small kingdom tile realm, that we're going to have to deal with it that much. But anyway, we're going to do that anyway. All babies that are born from my sister now will be part of his dynasty, because it is not a matrilineal marriage. And there you go, marriage is complete. And if you hover over here, you can see we have 1 king by marriage, 0.8 renowned per month. Wow. So again, capital region, we can improve it even further. More taxation. I focus on the one that gain you money first, because you put your money back into the higher tier buildings, build them even higher and higher and higher. One thing we've forgotten about is culture. We are the head of our culture. So if we go into innovations, early medieval, we can focus on something that will benefit us the most. There are ones that give a bigger bonus. You see this one in this case shares a religion with that culture. It's apparently a Byzantine culture. Okay. This will massively increase the chance of us researching that innovation if we focus on it. We'll go for it. Battlements. And this, you can see here, expected to be discovered in about 22 years. That's the quickest way of doing it. And there will always be one innovation that you can focus on in your era that will give you that 40% boost. So always focus on it. In the royal court, someone wants something. So we could lose grandeur and gain prestige, lose relations with the queen. She wants fashion. She ain't getting fashion. We're going to go for the top one. So we have a faction that's formed against us. In fact, 2 factions. So we hop onto the factions ledger, and you can see here there are a lot of options. So what I've done here is I've right-clicked on each of these, all these counts, and I have made them all pinned. So if you hop into the pin here, you can see there's 4 counts here. The easy thing to do is to shove counts underneath dukes. That means it becomes their problem, meaning they leave our court and they go to the court of the duke underneath them. And these are in order from here to here by how powerful they are. You can see here, contribution 38%, contribution 7.7%. So just be aware, you want to go for the ones at the top before going to the ones at the bottom, always in that specific order. All right, so we have this guy to begin with, this guy here. So what I'm going to do is hand it to this duke, the Duchy of Burgundy. Right click, click on grant vassal, select that guy. Boom, gone. Next guy, this one, double click, right click where he is. He's here, he's got these 2 counts. Give it to the Duchy of Normandy. Yeah, we'll do that. So click on him, right click, grant vassal, click on Berry, grant vassal. So what we've done now is 2 counts have been shuffled underneath 2 dukes. So now it is their problem. You think they'd be mad about that, but they're not. Then we wait a few days and you can see the faction is shuffled a little bit. People are moving around. Once again, still looks like it's a bit of a problem. Got someone here with 50 relations who still dislikes us. It's a bit of a problem. You have to wait another month just to see if they shuffle around. We have a daughter, that's good. Okay, what I'm going to do here, because this guy is a criminal, he is viewed as a tyrant. What we can do is right-click on him, click on more, and we can grant him a pardon. Grant him a pardon gives 15 relations, so he has 76 relations now. Same with this guy on the right too. This guy is also a tyrant. Tyranny is fun, right? And also grant him a pardon, give him +10 relations. Giving plus 15 relations. Also, Duke of Normandy, well, the new Duke, what we can do with him is shuffle this guy underneath him. This guy is pinned. The County of Sens. This guy, give him to this count. The County of Champagne. Grant vassal. Click here. And there we go. So also note, when you shuffle a vassal underneath a count, it also gives a big relations boost. So it does 2 things. 1, you don't have to deal with a count who's rebellious. And 2, you get a happier duke. So in all fairness, it tends to fix these issues. All right, wait another month. Okay. Whew. Still got a lot of problems here. This guy hasn't jumped off. And some of our stronger vassals are still holding on. Once again, it's a big issue, but we have to deal with it. We'll take away all these pins. Again, so we've got this guy. Pin him, this guy, pin him, this guy, pin, and this guy, pin. Once again, I'm going to do the exact same thing again and shuffle them all around. There's also one other thing we're going to do as well. See, we've got a counselor position that's empty. We're going to give it to someone who really dislikes us. This guy's got 15 intrigue. And we can... Where is he? So we click on him and look at his duchy. He's an Aquitanian, okay? You double click on these ones on the ledger so you can see where they're located. I'm looking for ones that are near the south. Doesn't look like there are that many in the south. No, they're not. I can give a count to one of these guys. So he's here just south of Paris. Click, grant vassal. There we go. The ones that are kind of the greeny color. Boom, handed out. Another happy duke. And up it off, another count less. And the list has been reshuffled once again. Once again, it's still a hefty list. Next thing we need to do, there's so many things you need to do, is we're going to hire a bunch of light infantry. So you go into your military tab, which is here, and light infantry are very cheap. So what you can do with light infantry, there's a bit of a manipulation tool, is you can hire so many of them, it looks like your army is significantly larger than it actually is. Just by the raw number of force of your army size, it quells all the factions in your nation. So in this case, light footmen, we create it with all the excess money we've got. That's why money's important. I told you why money was important. And then we increase the size to the maximum amount, 5. And then guess what? We're going to do it again. Another light footman, and again, boom. To be honest with you, light footmen are one of the weakest men-at-arms you can get in the game. Their stats aren't that great. They're only slightly better than levies. But for the most part, they serve their purpose of bulking out your army with more sword duos, more sword boyos. So we've got 5 months here, so we have to be very careful here. So our army size at the moment is only extra 5 levies, so these will increase over time. So we will come back to this. I guess in the meantime, what we can also do, we can also hire some bowmen as well and max those ones out as well. This is the beauty of having lots of excess money. That's why you should always have a nice savings account you could dip into when these issues rise up. All right then, so these will increase over time. They will get larger and larger, and that means this bar will come down because they need to get a certain threshold to look intimidating towards me. But my goodness, we are not done yet. We are not done yet. So now, we need to find these counts and then shuffle them underneath duchies once again. More counts, more shuffling. Fun times, eh? In this case, we have the Duchy of Champagne, Grant Vassal, you. Another one bites the dust. Next, you. What we can do here is create a new duchy, potentially. No, we can't afford that. But that's another option, that if you offer someone a dukedom title by creating it yourself, they will really love you. We've got the Flanders here, so I'm going to give it to the guy up here. I know it's quite far away from his realm, but I need to hand them out quite evenly because I don't want to put too many vassals under one duke. It'll be too heavy. And then finally, our steward, which is here. I guess I can give this to the Flanders guy as well. Yep, grant. Boom. What's the downside of this? Because you're moving them more than one level below you in the hierarchy of feudalism, you are getting less levies overall and less taxation overall. Because every time you work up the Ponzi scheme of feudalism, lol, you're dragging less and less levies and tax with you. And levies and tax is kind of the currency of the Middle Ages. Trust me on that one. Anyway, we lost our steward in this case. We find another one. And we'll have to go for one that's part of the powerful realm. Yep, so he's got good relations. All right, once again, let's hop into the faction map mode once again. As you can see, the bar has been come down a lot now. And you can see now we have less counts to deal with. So what I'm going to look for now is any other counts we can work with that potentially can, once again, be moved underneath dukes. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now I'm going to resume the game at 4 speed. I'm going to see how this bar changes. What should happen is, as we recruit in more men-at-arms, their threshold should drop lower and lower. There you go. See, just dropped by a massive amount there. That's good. And once again, it dropped further. We've only got 3 months left. It's getting a bit tight now. 2 months left. And you can check in our military map to see our recruiting of our troops. You can see that is going up. That's good. What I'm going to do out of desperation, though, is this Duke here. I'm going to put him underneath... Not you of Aquitaine, because you really dislike me. The Duke of Toulouse. Boom. And done. And that finally has moved the bar down just a little bit. Oh, and we're still so close. Oh, this problem is just not going away. So what we could do in an emergency is we could actually send a tax or send an artifact. Willing to accept this artifact, but it doesn't actually say how much it'll improve the relations by, so it's not even worth it. So in this case, we're going to have to get rid of this guy as well. This is not really what I wanted to do because I'm losing all my vassals here, but I need to control them by putting them underneath dukes. So it's you here. You. There we go. And finally, we have to get rid of this duke in the faction as well. Grant Vassal. You. And let's just bring the bar to the absolute threshold. I think if we wait a little while now, it might drop below. Oh, it looks like it's going to drop below. Oh, it's 1 month for the ultimatum again. Oh my goodness, this is so tight. Once again, as we're recruiting more troops for our men-at-arms, it's just dropping below the bar as we're recruiting more and more and more. As a very last ditch effort, what we could do is hand out one of our titles. I don't want to do that though, because it's a nightmare to get them back. And that is kind of how we hold all our power within our realm. What I can do as an emergency is I could hold a court and just hope I get events that could potentially increase relations. We get this guy who already hates us, so it doesn't make any difference anyway. Got the option here to improve our stewardship lifestyle experience, so why not? An option to survey the land. Okay, that's not what I was hoping for. Is what it is. Okay, it has just dipped below. 74% is the faction strength, and it's currently at 75%. Oh my goodness. So it's important now that we are swaying this guy, because we need to make sure he never joins a faction ever again. You think at plus 77, he's less likely to join or stay there, but it looks like it needs almost like friendship status to not join a faction. So let's sort that out immediately. And he's finally dropped off. Oh, hallelujah. It's finally dropped off. In this case, we're going to go for the Duke of Normandy now, and sway him, and keep the relations nice and high so we never run into this problem again. There you go, guys. That is the worst case scenario you can ever find in a CK3 game. And I just, out the skin of my teeth, managed to stop the faction from forming. Our court grandeur has dropped below the threshold of 4. It's at 3. And we're suffering from a penalty to prestige gain. You know what? Take that prestige gain. The money is better than the prestige at this point in the game. Trust me. Prestige is really good for conquests, and money is really good for building up. And right now we're building up, so we'll worry about prestige another day. Our heir right now is unmarried, so we need to marry him up. So in this case, we'll go for you, 28 years of age, and also intelligent. Perfect. There's a chance I might have to play as him if this current king dies, so just have him on standby is important. Paris is built up, and once again, once you build it up, you continue to build it up. Higher, higher, higher. Investment, investment. Also, one thing to note, try and focus on your capital first, and then the counts around it that you own, because there's a chance on succession you might lose these counts. You don't want to invest money to something you don't want to get back in your future generations. You have been warned. A legendary party was held. Pay me money for the damages. Oh my god, that's so much money. We have a son who will be the next king. So in this case, we're going to educate him. He will be educated by someone who's a fantastic steward. In this case, 22 stewardship. And we're going to select him and make sure his education focus is stewardship. Right, I've got the prestige now to up to my crown authority to limited crown authority. Okay, do it. Important. But be aware, if your realm doesn't already love you and you've not dealt with a big faction, another faction will form. So we're going to hop into factions now and see who gets upset. Anyone upset? No? No? Okay, we're good. We're good for now. All right, this guy's been swayed to over 50, so that'll do for now. To be honest with you, actually, now think about it. I want to deal with this install faction thing again. I don't want him to ever be able to rise up. If he falls off this faction will disband because it needs at least one supporter to continue. So if we get him to like 80 relations, then this won't happen. And then we'll start working on this independence faction. Next perk, go for Vassal tax contribution plus 10%. And is a tiny amount per month. Very, very small amount. Not the best trait, that's for certain. New Chancellor, hop him on. Got a new Realm Priest that doesn't like us, so we have to boost relations with him when we're done. Another cheesy way of doing it is to throw money at him. 150 gold for 21 relations. To be honest with you, you will get that back really quickly. Yeah, it's actually really worth it, that. You will get that back in no time, so that was worth. Paris, build it. Higher and higher. Focusing on income. Income, income, income. Unfortunately, we have gotten depressed. That really sucks, because that tends to limit how long you can live for. Meaning we're lucky to get over the age of 60. Just to mental note that, because it lets you know how long you'll live for, so therefore you can plan for your succession. Pay some money to me? Thank you. I'll take that money. Also, I got an event here in my court, and it had an option to reduce my grandeur. Right now, I don't care about grandeur. It's the lowest it could possibly go, so it's not something to worry about. But, as you can see here, we're about to get some bigger penalties to hit us. So less prestige, less renown, that's painful. And also, vassal opinion drops massively. Okay, I think we need to do something about that now. So we banked a lot of money. We made a lot of money from this, and I'll admit it's looking pretty sweet right now. But unfortunately, it's so low right now, we need to do something about it. So what we'll do is invest into fashion and invest a little bit into bland food, costing 2.8 ducats per month. Why? Why so expensive? Also, we can go to our court and put up some artifacts, which will boost our grandeur as well. A banner. Another banner. A skull cap of Charlemagne. That's actually really good. Amazing. And it's got a massive boost. So in this case, we just need to wait for the grandeur to tick up again. Unfortunately, we lose a bit of money. It is what it is. Something else I've forgotten about that's a good way of improving relations of all your vassals to hold a feast. They are pretty expensive, but they also reduce stress. And, well, there's a lot of things that benefit. If your stress is high and your vassals that hate you, throwing a party is a good idea to boost relations. It's an option here to spend some money, 145 gold, top it off, gain prestige and 10 relations with everyone who attended the party. So an extra plus 10 relations is worth it. 5 relations for this barony, and an extra plus 20 relations for everyone who attended the party. As you can see, plus 30 relations for one party, 200 gold. It was worth it, and that's something I should have done when the faction was forming. Oh well, lesson learned. The last guy has 100 relations, so we don't need to sway him anymore. Now we're going to sway the Duke of Champagne, get his relations up, so therefore we don't have to deal with factions later on. Right, we're having daughters, which is great. One thing to note, take care of their education, but most importantly, make sure that you're not the guardian. 1, you get spammed with events, which is frustrating, and 2, you have to deal with a lot of stress. Just find someone who has decent traits, decent stats, and it becomes their problem. I'm not childminder. I am the King of France, baby. Next trait, detailed ledgers. Once again, tiniest amount of income. All right, my advice right now is we're not going to live very long, so we need to work on the best possible way of living the longest. Right now, he's young. He has lots of expansion possibilities. Let's work on that right this second. So let's hop off wealth focus. And let's go for learning focus. We're going to go for medicine focus for the small health boost, and then get whole of body. Whole of body is the meta. You will live 10, 15, almost 20 years longer in game. The longer you hold on to the realm, the less you have to deal with instability of succession, so therefore more likely to have more prosperous eras for your nation. For the win. Alrighty then, we have someone declared war on us, and it appears to be one of the members of the HRE. This is a problem that you will run into. So, I think the best way of dealing with this is waiting for them to move their armies over, bleed their supplies, and then engage them later on. So right now, we might have to give this up because I don't think we can be able to hold it. But I will try my absolute best. The supplies are proper burning out here. Captured our cousin, which is frustrating. We hover over their supplies and have a little cheeky look. They are still losing supplies and burning them. So if we just wait a little bit long, we might find the right opportunity to strike. We don't want to raise our armies until we use our armies. Remember that, because otherwise you're going to burn through all your income. Just be aware of that. It's important. Nice to know, you could say. So below 50 right now, that's good. But keep an eye on their war score, minus 29%. If they reach minus 100%, they'll peace out anyway. And low supply, super low supply. Currently dying from attrition. AI too strong. Currently starving. So right now their army size is 8,500. Ours is 5,500. We don't really have the option to strike straight away. We will gain a big advantage in this battle. Ooh, but we need to wait for them to burn more of their levies. Okay, we'll make these bowmen a little bit larger. We've got max size for our horse. We don't need to work on catapults because we're not going to be sieging anyway. More like just de-sieging the land here. Okay, what we're going to do now then is this army's broken off. So what I'm going to try and do is chase it. So drop our flag down, left click, then right click where we want the rally point. Hold, control, left click, and rise all armies. Raise them up. Make sure we select our guy with the most command ability. 28 is very, very good. So right now, I feel confident engaging this. They do have more numbers than this, but they're bleeding out because of the low supply. So I am going to engage them. More than likely, they are going to run away. We have a new perk too, so we're going to go for the hold the body path. Rush down it as quickly as humanly possible. And right now, we will win decisively, and they are running away right now. We'll chase them, just checking where they're going, trying our best to intercept them. They're going for a higher terrain so they can have a better defense possibility. What I'm going to do is just wait here a little while and see what they do. Not going to engage, and they're just going to sit around, but we will probably win this. So I feel like we are sieging down our own land back. Is this worth this maneuver? And they're still burning attrition. So this is a win. They're losing troops from attrition. They have low supply. And I'm also sieging back the territory that I own anyway. All right, we siege that back. There's no reason to engage this. It's all in our favor right now. This should be an easy win unless they've got a great commander. Plus 26 advantage. We are absolutely mauling them. Annihilated. And straight away, unsiege this territory. And this will give us the majority war score because this is what they want in this war, this one count. They are trying to de-siege this area. So what I'm going to do is break off the guys on this siege and see if we can engage this stack that's being formed here. I think we should probably just take them out immediately. A fugitive is on the loose. Keep them out of the court. And annihilated 0 troops. Okay. Right now we see an opportunity here again, so I'm going to split off and see if I can chase them. You don't want to chase too deep into enemy territory because you will lose a lot of troops, and this should be an easy win. 25 once again. Engage. Annihilate. Another army on the side. Can annihilate that easily as well. Ah, winner, winner. Chicken dinner. A massive victory for France. HRE expansion is curtailed. Once again, they're moving our armies further north here. What I like to do is just press F to split them into half. As you can see, supply limit there, it shows that it's white. So 2,000 of 4,000 and a half. In that case, that means they will also get supplies back. And there you go, the supply icon has disappeared, and therefore we can gain our supplies back. We always need max supplies, because otherwise you will suffer a penalty in combat. Merge them back up with G, and we'll engage this army in the north. They will run away because they can't win this. And engage in the forest here. They are defending in a wooded area, but it is annihilated. Can we engage this small army here? Are they going to run away once again? And annihilated them. We could, if we want to, push for their capital. But it's just out of reach. Can we go here? Oh, we can actually take their capital. Let's just do it. Let's do it. If we look at the coat of arms in the bottom right, you can see they have 2,400 versus 5,000. It looks like the king has died as well. This is just not good for them. And we siege. We have captured the king. Can we ransom him for 54 gold? Is it really worth it? If we peace out, though, we'll get 218 gold. Yeah, enforced demands. We won the defense of France. A glorious victory for France. And some of the HRE has, well, they've expanded into Hungary, but then they've lost these bits here. I guess whether we could try and push into this territory. Apparently our count has claims on this, so we can actually press these claims, but it costs a lot of prestige to press someone else's claim if they're not your dynasty. So it's not really worth it for now, so we'll leave that. Capital once again, make it bigger, increase development, increase taxation. But the option to ransom, gain a little bit of gold, always take the opportunity. You hop into your court and then your prisoners. If you could ransom off, you get the mass ransom icon on the bottom right, hit ransom, and just see that money pour into your coffers. Ugh. It is good to be the king. Setting an education focus for my son. I don't want to do it. Find someone who's a good diplomat. Not the best, but he will do. Off you go. We demand a payment from our archbishop. Is this our current archbishop? It is. Apparently, we have a hook on him. Okay, we'll ask for money from them. 20 gold is worth. Don't need to worry about a court physician, and all the rest is good. Okay, inspire a person to be sponsored. This is the way you get artifacts for your courtroom, or swords or armor for you. You can invest money into them, and they can go on the little adventures. I think at the moment, you should only really do that if you have extra money, and right now we need to invest in our capital, so we need to hold on to that money for as long as possible. So I'll right-click to get rid of that. Royal court event. What do we got going on? Gain some dread, someone leaves our court. Gain some grandeur. Gain some renowned. Spend money. Want to go for the option that improves relations and doesn't really cause a fuss. So, boom. There we go. Easy. Another easy way of boosting relations is to go on a pilgrimage. Be aware they are very expensive. But once you become a pilgrim, you get plus 10 relations with everyone who is a Christian. And in this case, we are quite young, so why not? Let's go to Jerusalem. 326 gold. Ouch. Become a worldly pilgrim because we gain diplomacy and we're not very diplomatic, so it's something we can work on. Divine protection, why not? God will guide us to Jerusalem. And we've arrived, and we gain Pilgrim. And as you can see, Pilgrim gains you +5 relations to everyone who's a Christian. I was wrong. It's +5, not +10. So it makes it less worth it because it is quite a big investment. I have become ill. We can call a physician. Illness is not something to worry about, just being ill. If you were really old, I'd worry about it. But ill just tends to go away in a few months, so don't worry about it. It's just a cold. It'll pass. It's just a cold. Once again, working down this path. Know yourself is very important. And if you don't want any more kids, going for celibacy is a good idea too. Right now, we have 2 sons, so that's more than enough. And we'll now declare ourselves celibate. We will now extort the peasants. Once again, who doesn't love money, right? I love money. Fortunately, it really pisses off the church, but it is what it is. The church is very rich. And then we tell our priest, can you please start fabricating on Brittany? So we're going to select the capital Brittany, meaning there's a % chance that we could actually claim not just the count of Brittany, but the entirety of the duchy. And if we do, that will be enough to form the Empire of Francia. I think just enough. There we go. And I'm no longer ill. Told you it would pass. Told you. All right, we've got the option to form a holy order. From my experience, they're just never worth it. The only event you get from holy orders that are worth are ones where they'll buy someone else's vassal cities and they'll give you a large amount of money for it. It just isn't worth it. Just don't bother. We've gotten quite lucky right now. Some of the border states of the HRE are broken away, probably from liberation factions, and now they want to join us. So in this case, just say yes. There's no reason not to do this. So you'll get the pop-up for it, and it just says join us with low tax obligations, and join us. And you can see now this guy in the center here joined us, and this guy too did as well. Probably these ones will as well. Because you're inside the realm, which is considered France, or actually just on the border of it, they're actually really willing to join you. So in this case, if we hover over, you can see the reason to say no is only -0. Oh, it's dead on 0. So in this case, if we throw him a gift of 100 gold, then he will become our vassal. Expanding the realm diplomatically. And then this one too, off of vassalage. Oh, he is at war, so we won't say yes to that. What about this Duke? The Duke of Bar. -3. Once again, throw him a gift off of vassalage. How about you have a duke? Now is part of the realm of France. The Holy Roman Empire is shrinking. Like real life. Alsace-Lorraine, you will be mine. The more you sway people, the less likely the relations will go any higher. Oh, I was lucky that time. Pushed him to 91. In this case, hop off. Go into your factions map mode. Find someone who doesn't like you. In this case, this guy or this guy. Because he is a duke, I'm going to sway him. Ah, the Spanish kingdoms have unified. Castile is looking mighty fat. Only problem is they're still allied with Navarra. All right, did I tell you about the capital? That's right, it goes higher. Build it higher and higher and higher. Walls and towers, bigger walls, bigger towers. Someone else will become my vassal. Is it you? It is. A weaker HRE means a stronger France for the win. And, oh, it was so lucky. So, our realm priest has said we have found some secret papers to mean the legitimacy of Brittany needs to be a part of the realm of France. And we will accept these fabricated documents. So that means we can declare war on Brittany, unless they have any strong allies, which they don't, and they're very, very weak. So we can declare war and take out the whole duchy of Brittany. Once again, we're going to drop our rally point here, right-click here, and hit raise all armies. We're not going to hold control this time because it'll split them off based on their supply size. In this case, they have split them into 2 pieces. So we'll have one go here, and then we'll have one go here to spread out the sieging. Therefore, we can carpet siege quicker and quicker and quicker. Oh, so this is an example of one of those events. I didn't form this holy order, but they want to build a city inside of my realm. Just go for the one that gives you the most money. Honestly, it's for the win. It's a free loan. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We're at war right now, and it's important that we need to keep down our army maintenance as much as possible. So in this case, I'm going to go for someone who's a better marshal. This guy with 14 reduces the air maintenance by 50%, and this guy reduces it by 20%. 5% discount. Don't mind if I do. I'm feeling that my realm is very stable right now. Everyone loves me, well, apart from the Aquitaine guy. But he's coming around. He's coming around. He's slow, but he's coming around. And in this case, we can now start focusing more on army. So we have a daughter that's come of age right now. We're going to make it as a matrilineal marriage, and we want a really powerful warrior to enter our realm. 24. He's either going to become a knight, or he can become our marshal. Do you know what? Marshal it is. That's right. We're inviting the immigrants into our realm to be on our council. Continue to siege the north. Capture the capital and a few areas. That's it. We've captured their heir. Then we can intercept their army just once, and at this point, they're going to be dead. There you go. One battle. Boom. Ding. We've captured the Breton war banner, and it gives us +2 knights. That's really strong. So we come into the realm here, go into your artifacts, and put up the banner of our fallen enemy. Boom. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Enforce demands Duchy of Brittany is now part of Greater France. Hey, Paris, build it higher. Extort the vassals, and we go for the option to piss off the church. Oh dear. Keep an eye on the relations of our archbishop. Right, so as our renown grows, I didn't know this, but our banner that represents our dynasty gains more and more power. Now it does all these things. Amazing. All right, we have issue with an independence faction. They come and go, and here's another one. 6 months to deal with this. So we have a duke, we have a count, a very powerful count in Brittany, another one in Brittany, another one in Brittany, another one in Brittany. Okay, do you know what the easy solution is here? You pop into your Duke's titles map mode. You've got the Duke of Brittany, which I currently own. So in this case, we find someone here who loves us the very most. Find the count in Brittany that loves us the most. Clicking through each of them, and it would be this guy with 50 relations. So we're going to grant him the Duchy of Brittany. Boom. He has +30 relations now. Now we hop into the factions map mode, and already they do not have enough power now because all other accounts underneath the Duke of Brittany have to deal with his crap. That's your problem now. You deal with that. Oh, hello. What's this? County Swabian. Would you like to become a vassal of the greater realm of France? Can throw her a gift. 137 gold. Damn, you're not cheap. And oh, 0. We need to sway her. We're about to finish this sway scheme, so we'll let this one finish. And 100 relations. Good. Then we'll sway her. Swaying someone outside your realm is a little bit more difficult, but 79%. I like those odds. Are you ready for the most awful borders in the world? Oh boy, here we go. My heir has come of age, so he needs to marry. So you want the best stats, because in this case, we're going to think about making an accountant and managing the realm. So that's why we focus on stewardship. And intelligence is great because it's an inheritable trait. Problem is she's 32. It means she's less likely to produce lots of offspring, which is a problem. I think we're still going to go for her anyway. Ideally, you want someone in their 20s. As I mentioned before, I don't usually dip into this because it's usually not that relevant. In this case, we can hand a vassal to a rightful liege, which will give a big relations boost. In this case, 40. It's not applicable in this instance because he's already got 80 relations, so he's not applicable. But this bottom one here, -55 plus 40 relations, that makes a big difference. So it's definitely worth it. And he's gone from red now, hating me, to 35 to seen more pleasantly. And that actually means, I think about it, most of our vassals are actually got positive opinions now. Yeah, that's like, I think I saw 3 with red relations. That's looking pretty good. Next trait, and we're going to go for, depends if you're dealing with stress, you might want to go for this one. But otherwise, wash your hands is good. Reduce the chance of illness. Finally, the alliance between Castile and Navarra has finally broken, and we can declare war on Navarra. We want this county. We need this county. We must have this county. And they are allied still with Castile. But Castile are going through some rocky times. I think, by the looks of things, look like they're in a war, but it's not actually showing. But regardless, the war against the non-believers, we will win. All right, raise the armies once again. And straight away, you have to occupy this territory here. Oh, he's actually trying to engage us here. We could try and engage their army, but we will take some attrition because we're pushing into enemy territory. Is it worth losing 1,000? Yeah, sure. And then we go here, move over. It's going to be a difficult one to win. They've got a lot of troops, and they are fighting in mountains because Navarrians are fantastic at fighting in mountains. We win, but with some hefty penalties and hefty casualties. So in this case, we're going to start sieging now this northern territory. More dynasty legacy. So we've got the option here to increase the chance of our schemes. It's really good at saving money, but it's not really good long-term investment. Otherwise, we could work on more intrigue. We can work on increase intimidation tax contribution. That's really useful long term. I don't think these are going to be useful in the short term. I think right now we're doing really well because our king is pretty swell. I think what we're going to do then is go for the no-brainer, the one that I think pays off long term. Probably should have gone for that first actually, but luckily I've not done many feasts or hunts. Right, we have max relations with our sway, so don't continue to sway over 100. It's not worth it. And then we've got this guy who dislikes us. The only guy left who dislikes us. Come on, you. I imagine you live in the south, right? Oh, apparently he's Dutch. Oh, Flanders. Fair enough. I was wrong. Ah, Savoy. So they managed to re-annex this land here. I forgot about that. And then we've got Savoy here. Will Savoy become... so we max relations here. You've got to kind of estimate this in your head. We'll send him a gift. 150 gold. That's a lot of gold. And then the chance size +9. I don't think this is worth going for. No, we'll throw that gold away. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes you've got to experiment. Once again, make sure you've got the best general. For some reason, it doesn't default to the one that's got the highest command ability. Not sure why, but regardless, 34 command makes him a fantastic general. He's going to try and intercept us here, I think. Yeah, and he will. Going to have to back up here. Once again, their army was pretty big, and now it's regained its power, probably because Steel had a period of instability. So we'll retreat, and we'll send the guys here, and then F to split them off, and then regain their supplies. Paris, for a change, boost. Right, so it doesn't look like we're going to win this war without a tough fight. So what I'm going to have to do is dip into my bank account and hire some mercenaries. So it's always tempted to go for the cheap ones. 315 gold for like just a shy of 1,000 men. In this case, you could scroll down and look for the one that's got 2 parties. This is going to cost us 600, and it will give us practically double. In all honesty, it doesn't really make a great deal of difference. I probably should just hire the extra 1,000. We'll go for pikemen because that's something we don't have a lot of. So pikemen, part of our army. Onwards we go. Are they going to run away? Yes, they are. Move forward. Go here. Collect the army. Click split in half. Select the one that isn't the one with the catapults. I just realized our catapults aren't upgraded. Okay, we need to sort that out now. There we go. They're losing their money by going to sea and then landing. If we intercept them here. Oh, do we do this? Okay, we do it. We do it. Not by sea, please. Oh. So we intercept them here. If you look over this point here, it should say embargo penalty. There you go. Recently disembarked, minus 30 combat ability. This will be a massacre. Are you ready for this? Oh my goodness. We already have a massive advantage and our armies haven't even merged yet. Oh my goodness. The King of Castile. Calamity. And they're engaging us again in the mounds. No, yes, no, maybe. And they're engaging us. It is a suicide mission. What are they doing? This is stupid. And once again, another small army with the disembark penalty. Okay, they didn't have the disembark penalty, but it was 2 for 1. We had the double the amount of troops. So, all right, okay. We are well and truly taking advantage of the AI being incredibly silly right now. So we're getting an event chain here for learning, where you have the ability to dissect a body and discover how bodies work. Wow. But the problem is you suffer from quite a lot of penalties for doing that, because back in the Middle Ages, they see that as a big taboo of dissecting dead bodies. That's God's work. Don't mess with God, right? We have a chance of gaining ill. Let's go for the top one. We're going to get ill, aren't we? Yeah, we gain ill. It was a 1 in 10 chance of getting it, and we took the gamble. So they're going to intercept us here, even though they will lose decisively. Okay, so we'll go here. We're going to split off the siege, which is this one. And that means we'll regain our armies and make a big stack, and therefore just make sure this battle has a 100% chance of actually being won. And they're going to engage with their reinforcements late. Therefore, we just absolutely massacre them. Oh my goodness. This war could have not gone any better. We have seized an artifact, a Gymnasium statue, and it has got some awesome bonuses. This war has been nothing but fruitful. Boom. Done. And we have got some of Navarra. And that means also we click the culture map mode and click on Basque. That's right, we actually have some acceptance of the Basque culture. Hallelujah. This is the second part of the plan. What I want is Visigoth codes. It allows us to go for higher partition 1 age earlier. It doesn't apply as much in 1066, but it's something cool that you can do by hybridizing your culture. We just need 40 culture acceptance. And what's the easy way of getting culture acceptance? Well, it is grabbing our steward, in this case, the most qualified one, 22 stewardship, clicking on promote culture acceptance, and then click here. Promote culture acceptance. Good idea. And as you can see now, if we go into Basque culture map mode, there we go. 1.29 per year culture acceptance. So after about, we'll say a decade, we will have enough culture acceptance to hybridize Basque and French. The best culture, right? We can ask the Pope for money because the Pope absolutely adores us right now. We can ask for money from our Archbishop while we're bleeding the church dry. The best timeline. And also, something else we can do. I don't like doing this because this is land that I own and it's technically inheritance from my children, but I'm going to click Grant to the bottom left and click on Local Basque Noble, which will increase culture acceptance for Basque by 3.75%. Once again, speeding up this and making life a lot easier. And also, we can grab our Archbishop and then conquer maybe a little bit more Basque as well in the meantime. Yep, good idea. Yep, yeah, let's do that. Maybe we could do it for the whole county of Basque. Let's have a look. So we go here, click on Duchy. There's a Duchy of Navarra here. So we could do either, to be honest with you. Let's just do this one, the one that's closest to us. As with every war, if you win it, it's very profitable because loads of people will join your prison. In this case, we're going to hit ransom all and make a load of money. Right now, you're probably thinking you're sitting on way too much money. Trust me, in CK3, there's nothing wrong with having 1,000 gold in your bank account. In those emergencies when you need to bribe or whether you need to hire mercenaries, it is totally worth it. Okay, my son can be married, so we'll find him a very good lady. In this case, she will do. Also, my daughter. In this case, we can hire someone who's going to be a good steward. 23 stewardship. Is that any good? F4, 22. Not really, because we've got 22 now. What about a good knight? Oh, he'll make a fantastic knight. Check knight. Once again. Oh, hello. Dangerous faction. All in a day for politics, right? So we have a duke, another duke, and a count. Do you know what we're going to do? Do you know what we're going to do? It's just that count that I awarded that, well, count in Bass to. You asshole. All right, let's find a duke that loves me. What duke loves me the most? In fact, you'll do. You love me a little bit, and if I give you this vassal, you'll love me a lot more. There we go. Crisis averted, right? Oh, actually, no. Still 10 months. I have to throw a big gift at you. 150 gold. Okay. It has reached the point where we need to do the hardest part of any monarch. Deal with our succession. Unfortunately, it really sucks because if we'd gotten healthy, that would have given us an extra plus 5 years. Whole of body, an extra, maybe an extra 10. Speaking of healthy, this delicious pie. But it's only half the pie. This was only part 1. If you want to check out part 2, give us 15,000 likes and I will make you a delicious second half of this pie. If you enjoyed this video, then this one is your next one.